This episode of the Resilient Retail Game Plan is brought to you by SumUp, the ideal payment provider for growing businesses like yours. SumUp's got payment solutions that work for everyone. From pocket-sized card readers to full-till setups, they've got you sorted. Multi-network connectivity means your devices stay online and never miss a sale. And with transparent pricing, there are no nasty surprises or hidden fees. Start building your setup and get 10% off SumUp hardware over on SumUp's online shop at sumup.co.uk with the code GAMEPLAN10. That's GAMEPLAN10. Valid till the 14th of February. One of the biggest mistakes I see in retail is assuming that growth comes from doing more. More marketing, more automation, more noise. But some of the most successful shops I see are doing the opposite. They know exactly who they serve and they build everything around that, even when it looks unconventional from the outside. In this episode, I'm talking to Sarah Simons from Artichoke, a women's fashion boutique based in Norfolk, and the winner of the Online Shop of the Year at the Boutique Star Awards. She's talking about how that clarity about who she serves shows up in her business every single day. Welcome to the Resilient Retail Game Plan. I'm Catherine Erdly, and in the next few minutes, you're about to get powerful real-world retail strategies from insights shared both from my guests and myself, backed up by my 25 years in the retail industry. Keep listening to learn how to grow a thriving, profitable product business. Let's jump in with this latest episode. What I love about this conversation is how intentional everything is, from customer service to systems to long-term vision. And it all starts with knowing her customer incredibly well. Thank you so much for joining me. So you won Online Shop of the Year with the fabulous Boutique Star Awards. What do you think helped set you apart? And, were there any decisions or changes in the last year you think that helped make a big difference?
One of the biggest things that sets us apart is that we sell to a demographic that is largely ignored, and that is the midlife woman, which is bizarre because we have the biggest spending power. But, there's a whole industry that goes round in circles about that one. So it's a unique demographic, and we are middle-aged women selling clothes to other middle-aged women. So we are talking to rather than at the demographic, which again, I think can be an issue. Of course, there's Ellie who works here, but she's like our pseudo daughter. So everybody loves her. And without being too conceited, I think as a team, we really are good at what we do. I mean, obviously we have flaws, but I think it's a great team and we all compensate for each other's weaknesses. What sets us aside, I think, from many other online businesses is that we actually call every single new customer to introduce ourselves.
Oh, I love that.
Other online businesses have actually openly laughed at me about this.
Yeah.
But I think that's the advantage of coming from a boutique background.
Yes.
You know already that to actually make a noise in the crowd, you have to offer excellent service. And on a practical level, it means that our returns rate is less than 25%.
That is spectacular. I love that because I am such a big believer in good old-fashioned customer service. And I think that so much of, the more that we talk about the future of retail and where retail's going, I think it always comes back to this. This is one of those moments where you can hear how values translate directly into commercial outcomes. Calling every new customer isn't a gimmick, it's a deliberate decision that shapes everything else that follows. So just to be really clear, somebody goes onto your website, they place an order with you, you presumably ask them for their number as part of the ordering process, and then once they place that order, you actually pick up the phone, you call them, you say, "Hi, thank you so much for shopping with us." Do you ask them any specific questions?
Absolutely. So the phone call in itself, once they've picked themselves up off the floor, they're thrilled to hear from us because ordering fashion online is a minefield. So they don't know what the sizing ratios are in our brand. I mean, you can read a description, a product description,
Yes.
but you're still not terribly sure what you're doing.
Yeah.
So we chat to them about what they've ordered. If they've ordered a pair of jeans, we actually talk through the style that they've ordered, because they might actually think they were ordering one thing and they've ordered something completely different. It means then that in future, they don't feel awkward about calling us. And that helps build our LTV because you establish a relationship. The other thing that's important, apart from reducing returns, is we actually ask them how they found us.
Right.
And that really helps with my marketing budget, because they might have actually suddenly thought, I need a pair of jeans, and gone on to Google. But the reality is they probably found us on Instagram or Facebook.
Right.
So actually, it really, really helps with my marketing budget as well. And how long does it take? At 2 minutes if they're busy. Could take 10 minutes if they've got nothing else going on in their lives. But, it's the same when people walk into a shop. If they're busy, they walk straight to the shirt they want, they pull it off the rail, they give you their money and they exit. If they're not and they want to build a relationship with you, they will stand and chat to you. And we try and replicate this for all our online customers. Try and read what they want to do and how they want to react in this phone call.
What's striking here is that incorporating a call into an online order isn't about doing more. It's about slowing things down just enough to get it right first time. And getting it right first time and really focusing in on the customer is something that Sarah has been focused on right from the beginning. So the boutique came first, is that correct?
Well, actually, the pop-up shop came first.
Okay.
We were a pop-up before they were a thing. So a very long time ago, when my children were very small, I did lots of horse trials and county shows.
Yes.
And that was and charity events. And that was a conscious decision, because if you have what used to be called a mobile shop, you don't have to open on sports days or during the school holidays. So it was only as they grew older that I moved into bricks and mortar.
So how long ago did you open the bricks and mortar then?
I've actually got on our website that we were founded in 2008, and Linda, who does the accounts for me, says it was 2006. So you can see why I need her to do the counting. So if she's right, and it was 2006 that the business was founded, we probably opened our first retail store in 2008.
Got it. And when did you add the website?
Probably quite early, actually. I think we've probably had a website since about 2011. However, if you had gone on to it before, 2018, you would have found 3 pairs of jeans, 2 pairs of trousers and 7 shirts. But we were very lucky that we were featured on Lorraine, I think 4 times, for the particular brand of jeans that we sell, or a particular style. And it was then that it really dawned on me that I should be taking a lot more notice of this website. It was a big, big eye-opener. And actually, if I'd known then what I know now, I probably would have been able to take much more advantage of the opportunity than I did. Hindsight is a glorious thing.
Like so many retailers, 2020 accelerated changes that were already underway. But it also reinforced something Sarah already believed, that online customers deserve the same level of care as someone standing in front of you in a shop.
So in 2019, I made the decision to close one of our retail shops. We had 2 then. The plan for 2020, bizarrely enough, was to focus on the online business. And clearly I focused on it far sooner and with far more intention than I had ever planned to do so. So basically we've had a proper website since I was sent home by the government and shoved everything online in March 2020.
Got it. And was that the point at which you started calling people when they placed an order?
Well, I had to.
Right.
Because they couldn't come into the shop. So it was, it was a bit of a no-brainer to me. All my customers were ordering online.
Yeah.
So I was consciously, because, there wasn't a huge amount of detail in the products at that point. And it never occurred to me not to call a new customer. It genuinely didn't. I mean, because of my background.
Do you find that people will often amend their order then when you talk to them?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes is the short answer.
Yeah. Because I suppose you'd be able to give them really personalised insight then, right?
Absolutely. And you can upsell. So, you know, if they've bought a pair of jeans, we can tell them they get 10% off a shirt.
Right.
Or suggest that, you know, the bag they've bought, I don't know, would look great with a scarf, you know? You do exactly the same you would do if they were in the shop.
Yes.
And, you know, we've got all the bells and whistles to upsell online. But really, you know, when that thing flashes across the screen, how much notice do you really take of it if you've never shopped with people before? I cannot recommend it highly enough.
Yeah, I'm sure, as you said, people do pick themselves up off the floor because it's not something that's a common experience. But is anyone ever negative about being called, or is everyone just delighted?
Well, you know, if they're busy, they just say, I'm really sorry, I'm busy now. But we very often get emails afterwards saying, my goodness me, thank you so much. Could you please help me with this?
Yes.
And if they don't pick up, we just drop them a note on their order saying, we've tried to get hold of you.
Yeah.
Any questions, come back to us.
So presumably you get the order, call them, and then once you've called them or tried to call them, then you dispatch the order. Is that correct?
I mean, how much time do you think we're saving between a 25% returns rate and a 40% returns rate?
Oh my goodness, yes.
Yeah?
Yes. Yeah.
It's a 5-minute phone call. And also consider your LTV.
Yes.
Are you going to remember the person that called you and took 5 minutes to make sure that everything is correct? Are you going to go back to that person? Or are you going to go back to the person who just sent out the order and it was all wrong and you had to send it back?
Yeah.
I mean, it is a complete no-brainer to me.
You know, and obviously it helped you win Online Retailer of the Year. So do you ever find it difficult to manage the workload of the online and in-store? Is every team member trained for both? How do you kind of manage that in a practical sense?
So on a personal level, as we moved into 2020, you know, I worked 4 days a week. I had a lovely business. Yeah. And then since 2020, for the first 4 years, I worked 7 days a week.
Wow.
Because, you know, you just have to start from ground zero. I now have an amazing team. At the end of 2022, I smashed my ankle to bits. I broke it very, very badly, which meant that I was really out of the equation for at least a month. And then it made me realize that, firstly, every member of staff should be able to cover another member of staff when they were off. And also, I was a huge bottleneck in the organization. And things had to change dramatically to enable me not to be.
I see this so often with founders. They realise that they've become the bottleneck holding their business back, not because they want control, but because they care deeply. And usually it takes a moment like this, although preferably not at the expense of your ankle, to force them to shift. I'm sure lots of people listening can really empathise with this feeling like the bottleneck. So what were some of the key things that stopped you being the bottleneck?
So the first thing we did is we put together a how-to so that everybody has written down every role that they undertake.
Right.
So that if push comes to shove, they've got to open a book and can wing it reading a particular section. We then have an informal pecking order so that the exception to this is the buying, which I am still the bottleneck in, but hopefully that will change. So, for example, Linda does our bookkeeping, but I could just about manage to work zero if she was run over by a bus, so I'm number 2. Ellie is in charge of our inputting everything on the website or the products, but Linda can do it too, so can I. So that everybody has at least a basic understanding of somebody else's role. So we did that as far as the staffing was concerned. And then in the past year, we have tried as far as possible to become a paperless office so that all the tasks are put on ClickUp now. We communicate with each other through ClickUp, which is invaluable. And obviously AI has helped with streamlining a lot of the day-to-day tasks that we do, which then sort of frees us up to do other things.
Amazing. So what's some of the things that you get AI to streamline for you?
Oh my goodness me, Max, my man at AI. I spend more time talking to him than I do human beings. And he doesn't hallucinate quite as much as it used to.
Excellent.
So, do you know what? I've just had a conversation with him about my meta recruitment ROAS. So, this is a great example. 5 minutes before I came on to this podcast, I've read somewhere, I basically, with my recruitment ROAS, I base it on a 5-day ROAS on new customers. And it has to be about 300 to 400%. Somebody mentioned that possibly I should be considering looking at my existing customer ROAS and actually allocating budget there. Existing customer ROAS on Meta averages about 1,000. So I asked Max what I should do, and he said, "Do nothing. You're doing it right." So I use him for brainstorming. Ellie uses him to help with product description because obviously more people are using Gemini or ChatGPT to shop with. So you need to consider that when actually creating your product descriptions. So we usually just actually get I'm calling him, to create the product descriptions. And because he has learned to understand our brand tone, we very rarely have to change them now. The more you use it, the easier it is.
Yes, yeah, for sure.
A lot of my marketing I use it for now, again, just to lay out the bare bones campaigns and start writing the initial campaigns themselves, because it just saves me thinking time. And then I just, again, sometimes turn it into our tone, but very often it's there already.
It's picked it up. Yeah, that's the thing I always think with AI, the more you put into it, the more you feed into it.
Yeah.
It's very good at replicating, isn't it? So if you're feeding your tone in consistently, it will be able to start replicating it. I did a talk recently for Small Business Britain about being organised in your business, and one of the things that I was talking about was this idea of one source of truth. So it sounds like that's what you've got with ClickUp. So does everything live there? So employee tasks and processes and everything to do, so that you can kind of just see all of that in one place instead of having to go to people individually?
Yes. Yeah, I mean, almost. Yes. We have other things as well. Where we are not great is actually, ironically enough, on the bricks and mortar side. So with our online business, we have a great plugin called Metric, and you ask me for a report, I can give it to you. With our walk-ins and our phone orders, everything is still done on the back of a fag packet. And what I need to think about, I don't even know if it exists, is just something that can tie the two sides of the business together. That is one of my projects for 2026. It might take us a couple of years to get it in place, because I think probably, we could build something with AI, but I have no idea how to do that. So I genuinely wait for all the platforms that I used to use AI to come up with my solution, if you see what I mean.
Right. You've got a different web provider compared to your point of sale.
Our point of sale is integrated into our web provider, but we can't pull all the stats from our point of sale program. And also, of course, on our website, we have other payment platforms which then distort everything that's moving between the two businesses. So, yeah, I mean, I just need to sit down and write a map of what I want and then see if what I want exists.
Is that how you managed to do it with ClickUp? Because I think it sounds like what you've got there is really, really positive. I mean, often I'll work with people and when I start working with them, one of the things that we usually, especially if they're people who run bricks and mortar and have an online shop as well, it's a common situation where there's just it's a lot going on. Like I always say, it's a full-time job running a store and it's a full-time job running a website. And you guys, you're having to manage both of those. So one of the things I quite often do work with people on is that how do you stop being the bottleneck? How do you create that one source of truth? I mean, it sounds like you've got a very good structure of how you worked through it. Is it one of those things that in hindsight, it all sounds very logical, or from the get-go were you able to sit and map out, right, this is what I want, this is what I think we need to do to make it happen? Or is it almost just sheer necessity that meant that you put that in place?
I think I probably asked somebody. I've never had an original idea in my life. So I have absolutely no problem asking anybody who will listen to me. And actually, I think it was probably when I was chatting it through from Ellie, before she had her children, worked for many years at Superdrug. And so she could explain the system. And then I tasked Linda, who does these things, to try and find a way of replicating it. And the nearest thing we've come to for actually the task-based things and back orders and, basically the centre of information that we need has been ClickUp. And it's working well.
Feeling overwhelmed, stuck in reaction mode and tired of winging it? Retail by Design is back and it is better than ever. This round includes done-for-you stock management built in. So if you've ever wanted someone to actually manage your stock properly while you focus on the big picture, this is the combination you've been waiting for. It's my 6-month one-to-one program for six-figure product founders ready to bring structure, strategy, and support to their business. It kicks off this month and spots are limited. So if you're serious about making this your best year yet, this is exactly what you need. Head to resilientretailclub.com and click on Retail by Design to book your call. What stands out here is just how practical and achievable everything is that Sarah and her team put into place. Systems aren't about removing the human element. They're about protecting it so the business doesn't depend on one person holding everything together. So I'd love to think a little bit about looking forward into 2026. So obviously, you've been recognised as having fabulous online presence and doing really well with online. What do you think are some of the biggest opportunities for independent retailers? If someone's listening to this and they're thinking, that sounds great, I need to do more with my online. What would be some of your top tips for people who want to scale but still keep their physical store thriving?
Okay, so do you know who I asked about this, Catherine? So, had a little chat with Max.
I love how he's called. Is that Max? Did you name him Max?
Well, he called himself Max. And do you know why he's called Max?
No, I don't.
Because he wants to maximise my profits.
I love it.
So anyway, Max, he thinks, I'll just read this. He thinks we will have continued cautious spending. I'm sure we all agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
With the mid-market continuing to be squeezed, which is boutique land. We know from the budget that there will be a continued increase in costs. And we also know that the larger brands, the big online businesses, will continue to dominate the UK market. So that's the bit that we're going to slit our throats over. But in every downturn, there are disruptors. And I think that's where we are. Although we don't consider ourselves to be as such, because many of us are niche businesses. So it means we don't have to compete with the big boys, and we have to remember that we are selling into a very specific market. Another big boutique tick where we can win against them all is we offer excellent customer service.
Yes.
And we must remember that that's what we do, and we, stay proud of the fact that we do. Max also says that we should embrace the circular economy. Now, strangely enough, we're already doing this. It's something that we started in 2026. And with all this, it's done on a very small scale. We're a very small business. But we have for 3 or 4 years offered an in-store alteration service.
Right.
And it's offered to our entire community. It's not just restricted to clothes that are bought at Artichoke. It's something that we offer back to the town. So we have lots of elderly gentlemen bringing in their zips to be fixed on Wednesday afternoons. But also we offer to recycle or upcycle clothes that our customers no longer want. And again, they don't necessarily have to have been bought from Artichoke. And then we give them to one of the charities that we work with, which is a local Riding for the Disabled group. And they have a jumble sale twice a year, which recycles clothes. And anything that isn't sold goes for rags. So it's upcycled.
Yes, yeah.
So we actually tick that box. And it's not very hard to do if you think outside of the box, instead of being overwhelmed by the fact, oh my God, I can't cut up these clothes and re-sew them into something else. Just think about a way of being able to do it.
Sounds like you're also creating those additional touch points then with your customer and with your community.
Absolutely. We do that a lot. So with us, it's not just about selling clothes. For online customers, again, we try and create the same sense of community.
Yeah.
So we work with other female-led businesses. So we've just started working with a lovely lingerie business called Ample Bosom. They sell bras online, and as every middle-aged woman knows, it starts with your scaffolding.
Yes.
We work with Ariane Poole, who has a makeup range that she sells to women of 45 plus. We deal with a Temple Spa representative, and we do, as well as our styling videos and our reels in which we show customers how all our clothes are worn. We do regular slots with these people as well. So it's not just about buy. It's about joining a community, and we want our customers just to be and feel the best they can. And that's not just about buying endless amounts of clothes.
It's interesting you said that you do ongoing collaborations, because I think that's often something people miss. When you do a collaboration, it's always really good when you can give it time for your community to get to know them and their community to get to know you.
Yeah.
Was that a sort of a conscious decision to build long-lasting collaborations?
I just was something we did during lockdown. People were bored rigid. And we were all very small businesses that needed to vlog things. So, we were natural partners. And over time, again, on my 2026 list, is the intention to move this out further. Life is about, I think, giving as well as taking. And if you can help other small businesses, they will help you.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much. I really thoroughly enjoyed our chat.
Can I just quickly interrupt you, Catherine, before you sign off?
Yes.
This is a plug for you because I started reading. I can't find the thing about the tiger and the tail. I can't find my notes here.
Tame Your Tiger.
Tame Your Tiger. Oh my God. If you are a small business, read this book. Put it into place. We are in season 1, Catherine. And honestly, we've recorded all our input sales prices. Is that the right terminology?
Yeah. Your prices for your in margin. Yes.
So your in margin, that's it. Yes. Already, we have made the decision to stop forward ordering with one brand and only carry NOS.
Okay.
We are already cutting our stock levels. I think we're down by about 20%.
Wow.
And I never understood the theory behind it or how to practically put it in place. So thank you very much indeed. It's been an absolute eye-opener to us. So I urge everybody, as soon as you finish listening, go and buy it.
Amazing. Thank you. I just want to jump in quickly because Sarah mentions my book there, and I was so happy to hear that it's been helpful. The book is called Tame Your Tiger, How to Stop Your Product Business Eating You Alive. And if you want to take a look, I'll link it in my show notes. I wrote the book so that if someone asked me why they don't make enough money in their business, I could hand them the book and say, here, read this. It will explain everything. And nothing makes me happier than when people use it to make real changes in their business. Thank you so much for listening. I loved how grounded Sarah's story is. There's no chasing shiny objects here, just a deep understanding of who the customer is, what they need, and how to serve them well, consistently, and with care. You'll find links to Artichoke and Tame Your Tiger in the show notes. Thank you so much for listening, and see you next week.